Welcome to Star Notes, your monthly astrology forecast with Mikailah Rachael from Star Witch Astrology. Mikailah Rachael is a hereditary folk witch, soul astrologer, and transpersonal therapist experienced in oracular traditions and Western ritual arts. In these episodes, we explore the major transits, energetic trends, and cosmic shifts shaping the month ahead, and offer easy, practical ways to work with these energies in your everyday life. I wish to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I live and record, the Wandjarabara people. I honour their enduring connection to the lands, waters and communities, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I also extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples.
Hello, beautiful Star Witches. My name is Rachael from Star Witch Astrology, and I'm coming on to share with you the star notes for March 2026. And this is an eclipse alchemical reset, a sacred reset, and it is the month to tend to the sacred hearth fires of home and family. So we have a very potent closing of the astrological year with the solar seasons of Pisces, and Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, so the last sign, and depending on what hemisphere you are in, we are coming into, for the northern folk, we are coming into the vernal equinox, the spring equinox, and for those of us in the southern hemisphere, we are in the autumn equinox, a time of rebalancing and reset. But to start off the magical month of March, we have Mars moving into Pisces. We have an incredible potent lunar eclipse on the 3rd of March, and Jupiter moving direct on March the 11th. We have a potent new moon, which closes the eclipse season, the cycle, on the 19th of March, followed by the spring equinox for the north, as I mentioned, and the autumn equinox for those in the south. This is when the sun moves into Aries on the 20th, 21st of March, 2026, depending on your location. So aptly named star notes. I have numerous charts here, which I'm going to explore with you in this star note forecast. So we have a potent opening to the month with the lunar eclipse. Eclipses are karmic turning points, so they reveal what has been hidden. They also accelerate personal growth, and this full moon lunar eclipse happens on the 3rd of March, depending on your location. And of course, we have a tropical western moon in Virgo conjunct the south node, opposite the sun in Pisces, 12 degrees. So these are mutable signs. The sun is also conjunct the north node in Pisces, and this illuminates sacred devotion and holy rituals and how you nourish your body, tend to your home, speak to yourself, and show up with the small acts of sacred service and responsibility. This is practical magic with the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. What is also happening with the eclipse energy is Mercury, the planet of communication, and the Nimshubar sister of Inanna. Inanna and her sacred descent, she has been in the underworld for the last few months. Inanna is also known as Venus, and Venus has risen reborn as the evening star. So if you look out after sunset to the western horizon, you may see the bright star of Venus, Inanna, rising reborn through her process of, also in the sign of tropical western Pisces, is looking at this square, this challenge to Hygeia, the goddess of healing in Gemini, which is Mercury ruled. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, as is the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So both mutable signs, Virgo and Gemini, are ruled by Mercury, which reminds us, how does devotion live and show up in our day-to-day lives? And this is an invitation to release perfectionism, to release criticism, and release the belief that you have to fix everything, to cure everything. And there is a gentleness and a softening into deep surrender with the seasonal solar energy of Pisces this month, until the solar season changes with the equinox with Sun in Aries on the 21st of March. So with what is happening currently out in the world, the eclipse energy brings in a focus on home and the collective home. So when we work with astrology, I'm extremely mindful that it will reveal differently for different people depending on your personal resonance, whether you take these astrological star notes into your personal life, whether you direct the energy into your community or out into the collective. We have a social responsibility, but you may be more focused on individuation rather than collectivism. And this, of course, is a personal choice. There is no right or wrong with how you choose to work with these energies, but let your daily rhythm with this lunar eclipse in Virgo become a prayer. This is about sacred service, devotional prayers, and really simple devotional practices. What you could do with the eclipse energy, obviously, it differs for different people's cosmologies. Sometimes the eclipse is so potent, it's a time of rest and reset. This is eclipse alchemy. And with a few days, a few nights after the actual eclipse on the 3rd of March, that's when, with the waning moon, you can look at releasing. But with Virgo energies, Virgo is the polar opposite sign of Pisces, and we have a huge Pisces stellium throughout March, and we currently have Mars North Node, Pallas Athena, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Pisces. I have the chart here for the lunar eclipse. So with a strong focus on Pisces mystical waters, what we can sometimes do to support us with the Pisces signature that can be overwhelming grief, because Pisces collects us up in this universal consciousness, but also being very attuned, if you're an empath, to what is happening out in the world with the warmongers, with the devastation that is happening, not just it's not just what's happening within the boundaries of your hedgerow, of what is happening around your hearth fire, but when you spend time, and I would invite you to create a ritual with a mother candle, so that if you are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted and maybe consumed with the ravages of what's happening with the devastation and the destruction of homes and family in other countries and other places around the world, Pisces is the month of interconnectedness and oneness and consciousness, is that I would invite you to maybe support a local artisan. Find out if there's someone local in your community or online, your online community through the artisan network, to find a beeswax candle and to anoint it with prayers and intentions to support all homes, all family, all mothers, all parents, all children. And each day, as part of a small devotional practice, is to light that candle and spend just a moment or two reflecting as it burns in a safe environment. And then when you blow the flame out, or maybe you have a beautiful candle snuffer, if you so choose to, know that for that moment, this is about your practical devotional invitation to work with Vesta, the sacred priestess. She is an asteroid and she is very prominent this month, especially throughout when Jupiter goes direct. Finally, on the 11th of March, Jupiter has been retrograding in Cancer for the last few months. Jupiter moving direct on the 11th of March is the same day that the asteroid Vesta moves into Pisces. And what Vesta represents, and I'm looking at the charts here, is that whilst Jupiter governs knowledge and wisdom and expansion in the soulful sign of Cancer to do with the home, but the collective village, the collective home, the village of how we are interconnected beyond borders. And this is where we feel the universal oneness of Pisces with the asteroid Vesta. Now, Vesta is the asteroid of the sacred priestess and attending to sacred devotional rituals. In Pisces, she reminds us of everyday health, equilibrium, and the mind, body, spirit restoration. And in the ancient temples devoted to her essences, this is where priestesses would crush flowers and herbs, create healing balms, prepare sacred baths to recalibrate the soul. So the Pisces energy is also heightened this month with Venus, the evening star in Pisces. So this is about collective compassion and intuition, vibrational medicine, working with the plants, the sacred botanicals. Some sacred botanicals of the moon are clary sage, lemon balm, mugwort. They are beautiful dreaming allies. And to potentially choose a dreaming ally to work with, a plant. And this is about listening to the subtle language that's revealing through how the universe is softly speaking through us, through our dreams as well. So returning to your natural rhythm and to trust the signs that surround you. So we have a potent new moon on the 19th of March. And this is the new moon at 28 degrees Pisces when the sun and the moon are exact in conjunction. And on the 19th of March, this closes down the eclipse season. And we have Vesta, the sacred priestess, and the new moon is fertile soil. So this is about setting really powerful intentions with emotional boundaries, spiritual well-being. A new moon is a wonderful time to scatter flower petals at your doorway, to walk in the softness, because we are closing down the Pisces season, because in the next couple of days after the dark moon on the 19th, we celebrate the new dynamic astrological year when the sun moves into Aries and the equinox gateway on the 21st of March. Now, that may be the 20th of March if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, but we belong to the planet. All beautiful people, all beautiful creatures, we all belong to the planet. And throughout these weeks in March and Pisces, Pisces governs the feet. So depending on where you're located and your season, walking softly on the earth with bare feet is the practical ritual to support your body, your nervous system, and your resonance with your environment, tending to the hearth fire, creating a mother candle and anointing that, or just holding it with your hands to set prayers and intentions. And as I said, it may only just be a moment or two a day that you need to focus in the stillness. Now, once the sun moves into the new solar season of Aries, this is cardinal fire. And this starts, as I mentioned, the astrological new year every year around the 20th, 21st of March. And this is initiation energy. Fire, Aries, teaches you to action, writing a word for the year, an affirmation, a flame that you're willing to tend to, like the mother candle. Aries, botanicals ruled by Mars, a milk thistle and nettle. You may like to, on the equinox, work with a red candle, lighting it at sunrise, which may be early for some individuals, but sunset or midday, but always tending. This is part of the asteroid Vesta, is tending to the sacred flame with responsibility, practical responsibility. Do not leave the flame unattended. You stay with that flame. In ancient times of the Vestal Virgins, which are the archetypal energy of the asteroid Vesta, they tended the sacred flame in the classical traditions. And they did not let that sacred flame go out. If it was extinguished, there were quite rigid repercussions. So what we're also doing is we're tapping into the egregore of the sacred priestesses through different cultural expressions as well, who tended the sacred flame in the temples of the great mother goddess. So on the equinox, or throughout that period of shift of change after the 20th, 21st of March, you might like to work with candle magic, the red candle, speaking a chosen word or an affirmation for the astrological year ahead, remembering that energy follows intent. Also on the equinox gateway, the moon is in Aries conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer, known archetypally. I like to also refer to Chiron as the medicine woman. And it is a very sensitive time to be gentle with yourself. Life can be quite overwhelming throughout the month of Pisces. And this is about keeping a balanced perspective with the equinox gateway. It is about balance. So even when you're in the kitchen cooking, when you're sweeping, when you're cleaning, when you're folding, washing, when you're hanging out, washing, when you're watering the plants, just be mindful that every small act is an act of magic and devotion. And simplicity is part of the reclamation this month, as well as walking barefoot on the earth. Looking at what you value, what you love, especially with Venus is now in Aries after the equinox. So this is bringing in the integration. So we have the rest and the reclamation of personal rhythm throughout the first 3 weeks of March. This is just the seasonal integration now. Then the sun moves into Aries, the astrological new year, from the 21st of March, which is intentional new beginnings, working with flower magic, herbal astrology, grounded embodied magic, letting March be the season that you walk bare feet, scatter flower petals, light the candle, and trust in this, looking at your devotional practices very simply and knowing that there is much magic within sacred daily rituals. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be, as I mentioned, looking up at the stars, just taking a moment to put your hand on your chest, your heart, to breathe, to focus on the flame, and to know that magic exists all around you in the month of March. Go well, beautiful star witches.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Your support means the world to me, and if you have a free moment and would like to leave a review, a comment, or a rating on your platform of choice, that would go a long way towards helping me to grow the podcast and reach more people. If you aren't already subscribed, check out my Substack newsletter. Over there, I share lots of free resources, as well as an option to join as a paid subscriber, which is another beautiful way you can support my work. May what you've heard today guide you in living a little more slowly and a little more connected.